Atlantic Television Network, and of course we're told we have a lot for you on today's edition of the show. I'm not alone in the studio. I have Emmanuel, Michael. Michael, good morning to you and welcome to Sports Talk.
Yeah, good morning to you, Kingsley, and good morning to our viewers out there.
All right, let's quickly take a look at the situation of things as, of course, the National Sport Commission. They are, of course, in top gear to make sure that, sports develop in the country. A lot of things, of course, have been going on, and we hear the federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to see that sports in Nigeria witness a turnaround in 2035 and beyond. The Senior Special Assistant to the President on Grassroots Sport Development, Adeyinka Zulu, said it is the final of the Maiden FCT Area Council Cup, which was held over the weekend at the Apple football pitch in Abuja. Zulu said all necessary plans have been put in place to make sure that the youths are positively and productively engaged from elementary school to higher institutions to participate in sports and charity career that will benefit them in the long run. Michael, what do you make of this gesture from the federal government?
I think for me it's a nice one. Since the constitution of National Sport Commission, I think we've seen a whole lot of big statements made from different quarters, right from the chairman talking about Malam Shehu Diko down to the director general talking about Olakwade. A lot has been said, and the federal government, from their body language and from the step they are taking as well, it looks as though they are working in tandem with the National Sport Commission to also ensure that at least we give sport a facelift that it truly needs at the time. So I believe that with all of these big statements that they are making here and there, I believe it is in Africa, countries like Morocco, they put up an 8-year plan. It took them 8 good years plan, and that is why we are seeing the giant stride that they are making in the area of football particular this time around, and other sports as well. Take a look at countries like China, Great Britain, USA. They put down 10 to 8 years plan to ensure that at least they prepare very well, and that is why every year when it has to do with Olympic, you see them dominating. United States of America, Great Britain, China, New Zealand, Morocco, here in Africa, Egypt, Tunisia. When you get to the All-African game, you get to the Commonwealth game, you get to the Olympic, these countries that I just mentioned, you just discover one thing that is very particular about them. They always fight for, the top prize. If they are not seated in the first position on the medals log, they are seated second. There is no way you cannot find them within the 10th bracket. And that is what it means for you to put up a long-time plan on ground to ensure that you achieve, a good success. Because if you don't put up 8 years, 6 years, 10 years plan on ground, there is no way you can truly achieve all of these good ideas. You might have the lofty ideas that, this is what I intend to achieve in the area of cricket, this is what I intend to achieve in the area of football, basketball, and all of that. But if you don't take that deliberate steps toward putting those things on ground, it will not work. And adopting the fire brigade approach, time without numbers has actually shown that it doesn't actually work for us in the country. It doesn't work anywhere in the world where we just wake up one day and you think you can just go there and top the medals log without preparing. And those of them that have prepared for about 8 years down the line, you think they will just fold their hands and be looking at you to come and cut all the medals away. No, it doesn't work out that. So for me, I think it's a very bold step towards addressing the hitherto ailing sporting structures and infrastructure that we have on the country. So if proper attention is being paid to all these details that they are lining out, and I tell you, it's going to be the starting point for we to revitalize sport generally in the country. And then you will see so many talents, you see so many youth leaving the streets to make an ends meet for themselves, and thereby reducing the rate of crime and criminalities in the society.
My problem is continuity. Shehu Diko, of course, was just appointed as chairman of the National Sports Commission. And I think this particular government, they have about 3 years, if not less than that, at this point in time. We're talking about 10-year sport development plan as well. Do you think there will be continuity?
Where you see, government coming on board, they try to discard whatever the previous, just because they want to, set a record, they want to make a name for themselves. So I believe that if they jettison that idea of trying to carve a different niche for themselves, even when they meet an incomplete project on ground, that they know if such program is being completed, it's going to serve for the benefit and for the interest of the general masses at large. There's no need of not continuing with such lofty ideas. So anybody that has the interest of sport at hand, and he comes in, and as a president, he comes in as a sport minister or chairman of National Sport Commission, it behoves on you to just follow the roadmap. To the roadmap that has already been laid on ground, because it is definitely not going to take anything away from you as a chairman of the National Sport Commission. Rather, it will also be imputed in your own name that, during the era of so person, this program was initiated by the former chairman. But he
the World Cup down there.
I think for me it's a very great start for them. I think they've actually prepared very well for this. The first day they pick up the World Cup, they actually started preparation in earnest. Right there in Lagos, from Lagos down to India, where they were able to play 1 or 2 warm-up games as well. They lost some and won some, building up to that very first game against Samoa, which the wet weather couldn't allow them to play. The game was cancelled, and 1 point was awarded to each of the team. Coming up against New Zealand, a very high side in terms of cricket. Nobody saw this one coming, that we're going to defeat New Zealand, taking a look at their rankings in the world as well. So for me, I think it is something to be proud of, but they still have a task ahead, which is against South Africa, that is topping the group as well with 6 points. So for me, I still think there is a lot still need to be done. But I tell you, it was a great job, and especially the captain of the side as well put up an impressive show. I watched some of the clips in a certain platform. I tell you, the girls were just determined to do it full, and we must continue to pray for them and give them the needed support, morally, spiritually, and physically as well, to ensure that at least they win the game against South Africa, so that we can advance forward.
Let's see, of course, this one will pan out, but the victory places Nigeria second in Group C with 3 points. Truly leader South Africa, who defeated Samoa by 10 wickets to claim the second win of the tournament. Nigeria and South Africa are well positioned to advance to the Super 6 stage, and they will face each other tomorrow to determine the group's top sports as well. Let's quickly move.
Do what you love doing with ease. So for me, I believe this is going to be the best time that we are going to see the best of him once more, because it's been a while, that we saw him navigating, the engine there. So I think in the last few years we've seen Lewis Hamilton dominating, but then just of late, we've seen a different man in the terms of affair, you know, piloting, dictating, you know, the Formula One race as well. So for me, I think I'm very happy for him because he has said that he feel more like, you know, at home there, and I'm hoping to see what happens. I can't just wait for the Formula One this season to get started so that we see what he brings to the table.
Interesting one at the moment for Lewis Hamilton, and we look forward to see how far, of course, he will go with this Ferrari side. We understand the 7-time world champion signed for Ferrari in January last year, but contractual commitments to Mercedes prevented any substantive contact until the end of 2024. Hamilton will have a place to live in Italy to help his assimilation into Ferrari, which is regarded as the national team. Hamilton and Ferrari will appear alongside the other teams at the official Formula One launch at London's O2 Arena on the 18th of February before returning to Italy for Ferrari's unveiling of the new car at the following day. An impressive one. We look forward to see how this one, of course, will go down for the man. But let's talk about the Australian Open, as defending champion Yannick Sinner came through a tough physical battle against Holger Rune to reach Australian Open quarterfinals. In a match disrupted by medical timeouts and a broken net, both Sinner and Rune seemed to struggle with the 32 degrees Celsius heat on the Road Lava Arena. Sinner, towards the end of the second set and into the third, was visibly shaking during the changeovers as he wrapped eyes towels around his neck. But the world number one prevailed to win 6-3, 3-6, 6-3, 6-2 against, of course, Holger Rune in that encounter. Michael, Yannick Sinner still pushing at this point in time to defend the title he won last time.
Yeah, condition, he was still able to hold his own to overcome Holger Rune in that very one. And I believe that with this, his you know, primarily position as one of the favorites because he's still very much in form. You saw what he achieved last year. Last year seems to be his breakout season, and he has continued with that you know, impressive you know, form so far. Let's see what happens, because I tell you, it promises to be a massive one. We're going to see, you know, the big names still very much around, but we'll see Carlos Alcaraz against Novak Djokovic maybe tomorrow or thereabout, and certainly there is the possibility of Iga Swiatek, Yannick Sinner meeting either Novak Djokovic or Carlos Alcaraz. But I tell you, I think, but then ever since then, I think injury has actually hampered his progress, and it's a very sad one. And he even had to retire, you know, in this year's Australian Open because of the injury, you know, that he's feeling out. I think it's a very disappointing one for him.
Very disappointing one for Game Off there. I think his wife, Victorina, will feel so sad because I think the last game she won, she said that her husband, you know, motivated her to go that far at this point in time. What will be her motivation? I just see where that one, of course, will come from. Now, in the same vein, Djokovic, a 10-time champion. Djokovic, a 10-time champion at Melbourne Park, plays world number 3 Carlos Alcaraz in the quarterfinals later today, and that promises to be a very, very interesting clash at this point in time.
Call it final before final for me, because Novak Djokovic against Carlos Alcaraz, I think these are two great players. You call it the old generation and the young generation.
6th seed, Elena Rybakina, is set to reach the quarterfinals of the Australian Open. The American 19th seed won 6-3, 1-6, 6-3 on Margaret Court Arena to extend a winning streak to 9 matches. Former Wimbledon champion Rybakina struggled with a back injury in the 3rd round, and despite rallying in the 2nd set, was unable to combat 29-year-old Kay's aggressive approach. She had won her previous 2 matches against Kay's, but dropped the 1st set with the American neutralizing a big serve and taking control over the rallies. And away from that, Iga Swiatek said she has not yet reached her peak after she ruthlessly moved past lucky loser Everlees in the 59 minutes to reach the quarterfinals of the Australian Open. Okay, let's talk about Iga Swiatek. She's still pushing, but from what we've seen, she does not want, her performance, of course, to overwhelm her. As she has said, she's still yet, to get to her peak. Defeating Everlees, that's, of course, a little bit of a tricky time, because you understand the fairy tale run of Everlees. One lady, of course, who almost went home, got to the airport, but God have to intervene in her matter, and she has to come back, win 3 games in a row down to the quarterfinals, and now she has been knocked out of the competition.
I think she must be holding her head very high, because she actually, just like you had her say there, that she has not hit her prime, which for me, I hope to see that when he comes up against some of the big names that are still very much available around in the Australian Open. But I think it's a great one for Iga Swiatek. Don't forget, she will be hoping to reclaim back her world #1 position, and also to win this year's Australian Open. So everything is going for her. She's taking it game after game, one after game, So for me, I think she's in prime position, as well as one of the favorites in this year's Australian Open.
The 5-time major winner dropped just 1 game, and she ended Lee's historic run with a 6-love, 6-1 victory on Rod Laver Arena.
International Tennis Integrity Agency or unit have also taken a critical look at the game. Then WADA, World Anti-Doping Agency, as well, was also able to, cross-check the fact. And what she said as well, that she took it inadvertently, and having done a thorough search, they discovered that yes, it was what it is, and they had to let her off the hook. And she has already served the 1-month ban, and WADA, they are saying that they are not going to take the matter further, because after a thorough check, they were able to let her off the hook, because she actually gave a cogent and reasonable fact, and that was proven to be right, that she did not take that knowingly. So for me, I think it is time for her to scream hooray, because she has been let off the hook.
All right, at this point, we'll take a break, and we'll come back from this break. We'll bring you the latest revolving round the beautiful world of football. Lots in the Nigerian Premier Football League, and as well as club football in Europe as well. Stay with us, we'll be right back. You're welcome back as the Sports Talk on Atlantic Television Network, and of course we're still bringing the latest revolving round, the beautiful world of sports this morning. Let's talk about the Nigerian Premier Football League, because it's getting interesting. Benga Elegbeleye is trying, of course, to put the league in shape, because we hear that there are now friendly match balls now in the Nigerian Premier Football League, Michael.
Yes, and about 200 that he needs is still a problem. So I think it's a good one, but we must look beyond that to do the needful.
Let's see how this one will go. We'll look forward to see how this match balls will improve the Nigerian Premier Football League at this point of playing for Manchester United.
A lot is actually happening between Marcus Rashford, Manchester United, even the coach himself, Ruben Amorim. Don't forget, when Ruben Amorim first assumed his duty, he actually outlined Marcus Rashford as one of his key, player to work with, where he came conflicting reports, conflicting opinion from different camps, from both camps, either from Manchester United to Marcus Rashford and to the coach himself. But we'll just wait to see in a few weeks to come to see what is going to happen between Marcus Rashford and the club, and even the coach as well.
Marcus Rashford at Manchester United. Of course, we hear that a lot of teams have indicated interest in the man. AC Milan, we heard they've indicated interest, and as well as some other teams as well in England. But it seems as if the man doesn't want to leave England. That is actually the case at this point in time.
We
also heard Saudi also offer him a deal.
Yeah. Even Paris Saint-Germain as well. The English players traditionally they don't like living outside of their league. You can just count one or two few names. Even in time past, you only mentioned David Beckham, who left for Madrid as well. Even this present era, you can single-handedly close your eye rather and count the few English names that have lost. Maybe you talk about Jadon Sancho, who left for Dortmund, came back. You talk about Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham. These are some of the key names that you can just say, okay, these are English players. You talk about Tammy Abraham, who is not even regular for the Three Lions as well. So the English players, they just find comfort in playing in their league. And of course, when you have a good league that is properly organized, well organized, one of the best leagues in the world, where would you want to live? Why would you want to live? Exception of the fact that maybe some of the players are very much ambitious. They want to win something major, maybe not more like the Champions League.
Like Jude Bellingham in Madrid.
Exactly. Even Harry Kane leaving to Bayern Munich, he was leaving for a purpose. Age is no longer his side. He has played his entire career,
and
his
God might
entire
be
life.
him this season as well.
Let's see what happens. But I tell you, it's always very difficult for English players to leave the English Premier League.
All right, let's quickly bring you some interesting features, coming from the Copa del Rey quarterfinals, as we'll see. Valencia.
Nothing, so there is nothing of such, because I actually followed the news carefully. The man still feels very happy. He has no disagreements with the clubs, with the hierarchy.
If you take a look at this season, Real Madrid, they've not been firing as we used to know, even in the Champions League as well.
Just give it time. Madrid, you never say die until the final whistle. Despite the fact that they have not been doing very well in the Champions League, but then don't write them off yet. Even in the league, they were not doing very well, but just last weekend, they have assumed the top of the La Liga table, out there right now. So Madrid, gradually, you cannot say that their season is over. There's still much to play for, and the man is still very much happy. He just still don't forget, last season was just offered them a new contract when even the Brazil national team came calling. He decided to stay put at Real Madrid. If he wanted to leave, he wasn't happy at Bernabeu. He should have left for one of the biggest team in the whole world, talking about the Selecao, the Brazilian national team. But then he signed a 2-year contract that sees him stay until 2026. So if he decides to leave, at the end of the season. He's not leaving because he's having an issue. He's leaving with a mutual consent that, oh, I think I've done my best. In fact, in the history, the annal of Real Madrid, he's one of the, in short, he's their greatest coach because he's won a lot, 15 titles so far this season. So, not this season, since he came back to Madrid. So he's done a lot for the club. And if he decide to say, okay, guys, I'm leaving for good, I think Madrid fans as well will also bid him farewell with good mind.
So with that, UEFA Champions League matches, makes a return tonight, as we'll see some interesting fixtures as well. Atalanta will be in action against Stormgrass, and we'll see Monaco against Aston Villa. Atletico Madrid will lock ons against Bayer Leverkusen, Benfica against Barcelona, and we'll see Bologna, and we'll see how this one will go. You talked about Liverpool, of course, and having an impressive time under Ancelotti. A lot of persons have come up with the opinion that, Ancelotti is just a coach who is there at Liverpool to enjoy what Jurgen Klopp, has built over the years. Do you agree?
For me, I tend to disagree because, sometimes you might have a very good unit of players, but if you lack a good managerial, acumen, you might possibly cause friction within the team. A team that is a lot. So first, as a coach, you must learn the skills of man management, because that is one of the reasons that actually plunged Erik ten Hag into some of the mess we saw him, under his era at Manchester United. You came in, you tried to, destabilize the team. You took off the captain armband to England's skipper. Some of the big names, you began to bench them. It will certainly cause an uproar. It certainly cause division among the team. And the good players, they will not want to play for you again, not because they don't know how to play, not because they don't know how to pass the ball to their teammates, not because they have lacked that fluidity, but because of the animosity that they are not seeing in their heart against the coach. They bring it to the pitch of play because they want to frustrate the effort of that coach. So I think Ancelotti is
the show this morning.
Always a pleasure.
We'll be back by 6 p.m. For Sport Extraordinary. Of course, we'll take an in-depth